right.
Yeah.
Quick.
That was quick. Yeah.
No warning. Straight into it.
There we go.
No theme music.
No intro music. No theme music. Nothing.
Nothing. We go right into
Wait
it.
a minute. Pause.
Hey, everybody.
We just got demonetized. Hey, all right. Hey.
Oh, hi.
Who said something?
Some things are best
I didn't
left
say
unsaid.
Will
Don't say it again.
I didn't say nothing.
No.
It ain't even profanity.
Not that we monetized anyway.
I'm right.
They don't know that. Stop. Hey.
If we got sixth graders that know our sub count, I think.
Man,
That's true. That's true. That's true.
that part.
At least somebody knows.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
I don't know half the time. I'm like, oh, we got this. Is that six now?
Wow. We're in double digits, guys.
Woo! This one's not even a family member. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome on the back hash. This is episode 30. Yay. Made it to 30.
30.
3-0.
Join with me today is Will. Sorry, Zach. You had something?
I was just saying, I feel attacked.
Why do you feel?
I keep seeing 30 everywhere.
I don't want to hear
Oh, no, that's
coming up, man.
That happens.
It's happening.
Just embrace it. And then 5 years from now, you'll be 40. That's how that works.
It happens.
exactly how it works.
Listen, I had to. That's all the
man.
story. Where,
Not a joke.
We're sitting with my wife and my family, and I was like, "Yeah, I turned 35 this year." And they're like, "You're already 35." I'm like, "No, I'm not. No, there's no way I'm 35." And then they're like, "No, you turned 36 this year." I did not believe them to the point where I literally put in my calculator 2023 minus 1987 just to see. I was like, dang,
Get out.
I am about to be 36.
I'd have left.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
His knees are 48.
Right. That's a catcher saver, man. Back then we didn't have knee savers. You're sitting there right on your calves.
Just praying that MCL holds together.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
Right, well, y'all have a good rest of your evening.
Wow.
This was episode
I'm
30.
going home.
Thank you all for listening.
Wow.
We can title this episode, This is 30.
This is 30.
Right.
Somebody called it. So anyway, how's everybody doing besides feeling old, I guess? I don't know.
Good. Play some disc golf this weekend. Have some fun. So, yeah.
Selection Sunday.
Yeah, it was Selection Sunday. I didn't watch it.
Our team sucks, so they're not out. So
Hey, our girls.
our girls are they're
Our girls did work.
Yeah.
They did work.
Yeah, they had a nice little push towards the end. They just I know this is a Padre Chiefs podcast, but we like sports too. So especially in March, you're probably going to hear a little bit of this. So just get used to it. But I think if they would have a better start, if they would have won one or two more games at the beginning of the year, I think they
won
get
4
that
games out of
for the
conference.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
But their
And then they ran the
schedule was
table.
Tough.
And they have no seniors.
Yep.
That bodes well for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anyways.
It was weird to see that trajectory of comparing the men's team to the women's team. And it just,
Oh boy.
Tough.
It's
But,
tough times as a season
so,
ticker holder.
Yeah. But
Anyway,
of course, I didn't get to
WGI
watch-
Hattiesburg.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't get to watch any regular sports because I'm in the middle of WGI season myself. Not only
You were watching the Sport of the
I was
Arts.
watching the Sport of the Arts, and I saw some good stuff Saturday.
TM.
Saw some really good stuff Saturday at the show I was at. Shout out to Howtown's guard and Campbellsville University's guard. Ed Johnson's a genius. God, he's so
Yes, he
smart.
is, man.
That
Man, anywhere, any program he is with is successful. Man, it's crazy. He's good.
I told him, I was like, I said, why are you so smart? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, I was like, no, it's like just simple stuff that you do and think of just makes so much sense.
Yep.
Went a lot of percussionists at our show this week, but SCGC did represent at the regional they went to. They went a couple of groups went down to Knoxville, and they both it was two independent A groups that were competing against each other in independent A. They got bumped in the open, like they bumped the whole A class in the open.
And we're not having A class. That's senior finals. Here we go.
I was like, okay, well, I guess they were just doing their thing, and it ended up being all right. So shout out to Creekwood Independent and Buckhorn Independent from our circuit that got bumped to open in Knoxville. That's pretty cool. I was shocked because I was like,
You ever been to?
Go ahead.
Was it at Thompson Bowling Arena? Was that where it was held at?
Knoxville, I don't know.
Like
I don't know where they do
the
that. I would
UT
doubt that.
campus. Because that place is awesome. I went and watched watching the girls play the NCAA tournament one year down there, and their suite level looks like a condos. It's insane. Like, and it's like right on top of the court too. Like, I feel like if you you can throw something out the window and hit center court. That's how on top of the court is. So I didn't know if that's where it was or not. That'd be kind of cool. It's a cool venue.
I'm looking at no, it's at Hardin Valley Academy.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
If that was, and that's probably why. Like, you can almost tell where certain shows are held because who goes there. Like, Mystique went all the way down to Mississippi, which is 8 hours
arena.
as opposed to 2 hours from Nashville, and just to play in a college arena, just so they can assimilate.
So that's Southern Miss, right?
Yes, they play Southern Miss.
Yeah. Okay,
just so they can be in a dome that kind of mimics Dayton. So
I'll say Hattiesburg is, if I remember their arena,
It's huge.
It's
pretty close to Dayton.
It's
a little deeper in it, like a little steeper or whatever.
No, it's not steeper. Okay.
It's not.
Let me rephrase that.
Like height wise.
Yeah, like it sinks in, right?
It does sink in, but you don't have to go down as far. But they do build the arena on top of right, so you don't go down as far, but I think you go higher.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's more above ground than there is on the ground because
Dayton's pretty like this, long ways. So
the ramp at Southern Miss is nothing. Like, if somebody's like, "There's a ramp, you got to go down," I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm mentally preparing my brain for the Dayton ramp, which is basically this.
Right.
And then I get in there and it's just like, "Oh, this is like a grocery store ramp." Okay. Everyone's freaking out about it. But no, it's people will do stuff to make sure they're ready for the Dayton arena. So, so there's I don't know how many universities actually are used. I know that one.
Talking about for WGI in general?
Yeah, for regionals.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
That might be the only one.
It might be.
Legit might be the only one. Even in the color guard side.
Yeah. I mean, when Western started doing theirs, that was why Western was such a big draw, because it was.
Yeah.
Now, Western's a lot like Dayton. It doesn't go on the ground. But
yes.
But that height is right along to you, especially the dry.
It's because Diddle Arena is the best arena ever created in the history of arenas.
That's right.
It's dry as hell.
Tops on top.
It is dry.
It is.
Dry as hell.
It is dry. You get no reverb whatsoever.
Battle. You better not be one of those groups who hype off of echoes and stuff or
you ain't getting it.
You're
you
not
play
getting
a note.
it's gonna disappear.
Which for a small group like mine, it's great because when we do dynamics,
that stuff is right on ticking.
Like, did they stop playing?
Yes, because it's that good.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. We're going to quickly go over the featured shows. I don't want to call them featured shows, but there was the shows that were shown on
live stream.
live stream shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On flow marching. So we're going to start with guard. And the show they showed was Union City. I got to catch a little bit of that today, thanks to Flow Marching doing a rebroadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to them for that.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through some of these records. So Union City, California, hosted a Garlic Guard Regional Day. It was on this past weekend. Showed on Flow Marching. Your Scholastic Regional A champion was Cupertino High School, winning that class with a 78.45. Mm-hmm. Your Scholastic A champion was Granite Bay High School with an 82.92. So congratulations for winning the championship in Bustin' 80. Independent A Sacramento State Winter Guard with a 74.38. Your Scholastic Open champion was Laguna Creek High School with an 82.6. Independent Open was Zeus Independent with a 78.63. Your Scholastic World champion was James Logan High School for 75.6. And your Independent World champion from that regional was In Motion Performance Ensemble for 79.25. So some very, very cool and interesting shows that were there. I think I saw a baseball show. And I thought that was pretty neat. I've seen, I've seen bands do that, and maybe even a percussion ensemble do it, but I have not seen a guard do it, and it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Trying to see if there's any just random like upsets or anything like that, or just
in the guard world.
Yeah,
I didn't notice any. I kind of looked for the same thing.
Just come out of the blue and smack some heads around. The scores seem to be, I don't know. I
was gonna say, it sounds like they're kind of starting to plateau a little bit. Like they're not really growing as steady as we saw the first couple weeks.
Like they're tightening up. It seems like that all the time.
That first weekend in March is weird.
Mm-hmm.
See, Vox Artium with a big number, Independent Open 86.5. That's pretty huge. I should probably move them up quite a bit when they were out at Bakersfield. But yeah, it seems like they're just kind of holding on and maybe tightening the range a little bit. Because the 80 range is where you want to be. You want to be, especially around this time of year. There's 2 weeks left in the regional calendar. So, you got the WGI, we will start seeding stuff. Local circuits, if they do a seeded championship, they'll start to take scores from local shows, and WGI scores will start to seed stuff too. So you really want to put yourself in a position to be in the 80s range if you can possibly get there. That way you can do yourself a good seed. So I think judges are really saying that's the separator. Just really saying, all right, you're here, you have a shot to compete. If I'm putting this 8 down, you're in pretty good shape to move on or to do the things that you need to do. So, especially at these regionals, that's the thing that needs to happen. So, all right. And then in percussion world, we had the Hattiesburg Regional. Now, what happened, because I think all of us was planning on getting up this morning and watching that regional, and it wasn't on. And he was like, what's going on? Why is there no percussion regional? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I actually got up in time, first of all. And even though I forgot about daylight savings time, and I got up, and I was like, oh, I missed it. Then I was like, wait a minute, no, I didn't. And because I was like, I looked at my phone and my clock were off, and I was like, God dang, daylight savings time. So I was like, okay. I looked at the schedule, and I was like, okay, so the first group down there is supposed to have gone on at 9. So I'm like rushing this one. That's when about the time I sent y'all a message. I was like, what's going on? Because I swear I clicked on everything. I was like, what is happening for? I was like, did I miss it? Did they move it? Is it too late? What happened? And it was nowhere to be seen. I was like, okay, something must have happened down in Mississippi. WGI wasn't saying nothing.
That was the weird thing about it, because usually when something's going down, like somebody will post something somewhere, whether it was Flow or WGI themselves, and nobody was seeing anything. That, if one of us was like a part of a group that went to that show, I'm sure there was communications being made to the directors and stuff like that. But apparently, it came a monsoon down there, and if I remember correctly, there is no indoor warm-up facilities there.
It's not.
So because of that, everybody warmed up outside. Now, typically, it's not a problem. Typically, it's pretty warm down there, and the weather does what it needs to do. But this year, just wasn't cooperating, and due to safety issues and things like that, WGI, sorry, I almost said DGI. Good Lord. WGI.
Drum Guard International.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a thing. But they decided for safety reasons, to call the finals performance. So whatever happened in the prelims is what stood. But good for WGI, thinking about player safety first and foremost. Because we've been down there before when it's rained.
Yeah. All I was going to say is, like, I know some of these groups really wanted that finals. Because, like when said, reads the scores here, especially Scholastic A, as tight as it was, I know they was ready for them finals.
And anything can happen, especially at these 2-day regionals, because they either switch panels completely or they move to a double panel. So just having those different opinions on a different day, a lot of things can.
Is Jay missing one of those judges?
Jay's missing is not one of those judges.
Okay,
I'm
sure.
done.
Pretty sure he retired. Didn't he retire?
I don't think.
I don't know. We might see him again. DC.
He is not a WGI official judge.
He hasn't made it that far. Got it.
Oh,
WGI has a system in place. If there's a judge missing, they normally just knock it down to 3 or 2, and just make it that way. So, because we had to do that at our local show this past week, they had two had to leave because of emergencies, which I think one of our judges had to go to the Knoxville show because I think a Knoxville judge couldn't make it. So they pulled him from our local show.
That's crazy.
That is speculation.
Can you make the breaking news sound there?
That is speculation, but I think that's what happened. Because I was like, "Oh, we get a WGI judge this week," and then no, we don't. No.
Psych.
But it's okay. So I'm gonna go a little bit more into detail about these, just because of that, and like Will said, with a second run, a lot of this could have went a completely different way.
I know it would have.
So Scholastic Marching A, you had Vanderbilt Catholic winning with an 80.9, and then Oak Grove was second with an 80.85.
Wait.
That is .05. In third place, you had Pearl High School with an 80.35.
Ridiculous. So, and I had Pearl winning.
Was out of place
because Pearl was the last group in the first little grouping.
The first pod.
The little first pod. They were the last one to go on before the break, and I was watching it, and they went on, and I said to myself, okay, that's winning right now.
Which one was that? Which one were they?
I cannot remember the actual concept. Their show was about one word. And what they did is they took like the one word and put it like it was almost like a DJ thing. It was being played off of I think it was either like the sound station or Malacat, something like that or whatever. And they would play the one word over and over and over like it was a DJ type thing. It burned my brain because I only got to see it that once, and I was so hyped to see them again. They came out, and I mean, they were clean. It was entertaining. It was creative as I don't know what. And I was like, okay, I've never heard anybody do it like that. And I sit there. I was like, that's winning. And it took until like the next half of the A class or whatever, the next grouping or whatever, and then you know, around I thought it was going to be Edie White, but I guess and what is it, Vanderbilt
Catholic.
By the time all of them came on, then I was like, okay, now the competition is rough. But that when Pearl came on, boy, ooh, I had called it then. When I saw them scores, I said, ooh. So I was hyped for finals today. So that's why I was happy I had got up, but when it didn't show, I was like, man, I know a lot of these groups are mad because they were right there, dude. It was crazy.
So I'm going to talk about the recaps real quick because it's pretty interesting.
Is it called It's called Alone? Alone? No.
Who?
I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Oh, you talking the show? No. I was so upset I couldn't figure it out. It's like one word. It was so creative.
So while you try to find that, I'm going to run through these recaps. So they were kind of all over the place in the top half. Like there was nobody that just thought one group just ran away with it. So in music effect, Vanderbilt Catholic was third. They won music effect, but they won the music caption of music effect. But they were third. Oak Grove actually was first in music effect in prelims, finishing second in both captions, though. That's the way the numbers work. Pearl was seventh in music effect. Which another number is going to come up that gets interesting here in a second, too. In visual, they were 1, 2, 3. Vanderbilt Catholic was third. Oak Grove was first in visual effect, and Pearl was second in visual effect. But they were all right by each other. So we're talking 16-8, 16-7, 16-3. And well, let me go back. Here's where it got a little interesting. In music, Vanderbilt Catholic was first, winning both captions. Oak Grove was third. Pearl was fifth, but in composition they were 12th.
12, yeah. That's wild. That's wild.
Like, and the numbers low. Like, the numbers real low. So I'm wondering, like, what about they were 12th in composition, but they were second in hands in performance.
Which is like you're basically saying that these kids are outplaying your own book. It's that clean or something like that or whatever.
And I'm trying to look to see if he does that with any other group. Because typically when you have, it's the how versus the what versus the how. And usually the what scores higher than the how. But this was a huge difference. Like, we're talking...
They're like the only group like that.
Yeah. So it makes me wonder, with a gap that tight, I mean, you bump that up just even 4 or 5 points, and we might be talking a placement here.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what did he not like about...
Because that whole staff
composition
is just riding that.
I mean, I'm asking questions if I'm a critique.
I'm already.
Yep.
Already. That's like on my top of the list. Like, what's wrong? First question, what's wrong? Because, God, dog, 12th, and then you trying to say the kids are second?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was interesting. And then in visual, just flat visual, Vanderbilt Catholic was 7th. Oak Grove was 4th, and then Pearl actually won the visual caption. So you add all of that up, and you get some Some really tight scores. And then E.D. White with a Giraffe Show wasn't too far behind. They won.
Listen,
listen.
That had to been the most.
I'm with you.
That had to been the most creative thing I ever seen in my life.
I'm with you.
In my life,
we are about to go full on Lion King right now. I was there for it.
I was like, Ed, yes. What? I was like, now let somebody like Dartmouth had done that, or something. I was like, this is fantastic.
But here's the crazy thing about it: they won music effect, but they were 9th in visual effect,
which is crazy,
and 6th in just regular flat out visual.
Yeah,
and then you look at Harrison Central, who was 5th. They were 4th in visual effect, 4th in music effect, and 4th in music and 5th in visual, but they were 10th in music effect.
Yeah.
Like one judge, it seems like the next 4 or 5 groups, one judge was just like, nah, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Bob Jones, it was visual effect that had him 11th. Wes Harrison, music effect had him 11th. The next group, Germantown, visual had him 10th. So it was like one.
It's so hard.
It
man,
is
like
it
as a group,
and I don't hate that happens, because that just means because that happens. Some people have a very strong musical program, but maybe the effect's not there, or maybe they don't march well, and then some people march really, really well. But their show's so easy musically, to me that's the way the system should work. It's just hard to explain sometimes to a child. Yeah, you won music, but you didn't win effect. Well, how? Or you won effect, but you didn't win music. It's like, well, don't you have to play well for the show to be effective? But it's.
That could be a whole. Have we talked about that before? I think about that whole idea.
I'm sure we have.
I feel like we did during drum corps. Like I think we did.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
brought
we
it
did
up a few times. It's just
because you can play very, very, very clean and it not be effective.
Yeah. It could be clean but boring as hell.
Yeah.
It
happens a lot.
You see it in marching band a lot.
That's also where you having trained judges knowing exactly what their caption is,
and
not being influenced by what if they were judging music, that's not influence their effect score or something. You know what I mean? Like I think that's where having trained judges is a very good thing. But it does suck when you have one judge that's kind of bam. But that's also we were talking about. That's the judge you need to go to critique and be like, "Hey, what do
everybody
I need
else
to do?
liked us? What are we doing here that's lacking?"
Yeah.
And you also have to take that with a grain of salt too, because it's very subjective, right? So you could also have a different group, a different judge panel, and see something differently as well.
Well, you don't let them have a cop out answer either, because that happens sometimes too. I've been in a critique where I ask, "Okay, what's the problem here?" And the answer that I get, I'm not satisfied with. And if I'm not satisfied with the answer, I'm coming back. I'm like, no, if this is the number that you're putting down, I need to know why, and I need to know how to fix it.
Has to be a reason, and there has to be some kind of explanation into what to do to fix that, because for me, it's so hard to say, okay, I'm gonna give you a number, but then I'm not gonna have a reason to help you figure out why I gave you just slammed me. Like, who do we just say? You
I don't know. I can pick any
11. Yeah, Wes Harrison got 11th in music, whatever.
Visual effect. No, sorry, that was Bob Jones with 11th in visual effect.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, you had all the intelligence to give me that number, but you have none to tell me what to do to fix it, because clearly you should have that right.
And that Bob Jones one, 11th in a visual effect, but they were 3rd in a visual. So, like, you move well, but they must have just been doing straight lines and curves and box drills. Like, that's right. Because you have to interpret it like, well, I guess we move well. It's just not effective. It's a hard. Like, I tell people all the time, like, we'll get mad at a judge or something like that, but it's hard. It's hard. I mean, just judging high school marching percussion units, after like 5 groups, I'm like, they're all the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when you write. That's when you just put "good job" on your sheet.
No.
Put it in the folder.
I hate.
Yeah. That
PTSD.
that get chopped in throat for that. So yeah. So but that's what you're going to see it. I mean, I don't know how many of these groups are going to champs, but that's what you might see at champs, especially in A class, because
I mean, there's only 500 of them.
yeah, it's
Right.
It's so simple, which is why they break them up into rounds. There's so many of them, you can't. I mean, there were 13 at this show, and everybody was in a 10-point range.
That's so tight, dude. That's so tight.
So
Well, I was texting with Will about this. We were watching yesterday for a little bit, and I got to see mostly A class. And the thing that I noticed is these groups come out with the really nice floor. They've got props, they've got sounds, they've got uniforms, they've got voiceovers, they've got all this stuff. And that's fine, but the bottom line is you've got to be able to march and play well. It don't matter how much money you've spent on all this aesthetic stuff. If you can't come out and do your job, which is to march and play and let the other stuff add to, then it's not going to fulfill your purpose. Like, it's okay to push and have like these open and world-class views and goals for your Scholastic A group, but it doesn't matter if they're not playing clean or they look a hot mess. Because I couldn't tell you how many groups I watched. I was like, oh, well, they look good, but it doesn't sound great. Or the opposite. It sounds horrible, but they look really good. And I really like the voiceovers and the cool capes they've got on, but it's not doing anything for me because I don't know what's going on because it's dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, we did talk about that. And I talked to a lot of people every so often about, stuff of that nature and whatever. And that's why, obviously – majority or probably all of your world class or whoever groups, they do this, but I like to use Mystique a lot. And one thing you'll see Mystique do is Mystique is not afraid to come out in some jeans and a t-shirt. They're going to make sure that the music is straight. They're going to make sure all this stuff's straight, and you ain't going to have a clue what the show's about. And then by that next show, now look at the show now. They got crazy with these lights, first of all. I love the show. But
we'll get there.
But I believe it. You get the process, right?
Yeah.
If by the first show we are not ready, you're not getting them props. You're not getting all this stuff. We need to make sure music is straight and visually we are dotting all the I's and everything for this for now. And then you can get the rest, and then it all starts making sense later on down the road. And I think some groups do that backwards. They think you have to have all of that first.
They try to jump out early.
Exactly. They want all these high numbers. They want you to do this, and this. And now they're playing the catch-up game and all the captions that actually matter.
Yeah. And WGI judges aren't done. Like they will look past all of that.
Sure will.
And that's what I was saying. Like, that's where trained judges, like, especially in the indoor world, because it's such a more intimate setting that, you can't get away if you're in a boomy gym and you don't sound good, like, it's over for you, right? Or you're in a dry gym and you're not playing with dynamic contrast, it's over for you. Like, I mean, you really got to have those elements in there because you can have all this ooh and ah stuff, but for music and marching, visual, like that's what they're looking at. They're not looking at the effect side of stuff and how all that stuff goes with it.
And I'll also go back and say this. I understand that you're wanting to push your group, and in order to take them to that next level, you've got to give them beefier stuff, and you've got to bump up the difficulty, and you've got to, push them and let them grow into that as well. But when you've got this big concept idea that you want to portray, but then the music and the visual doesn't hold that up underneath, and it's just like this great voiceover that you keep playing over and over again, or whatever it is, it's like, all right, you got a really great idea, but it's not doing it for me.
Mm-hmm.
The best audio from your performance should not be the voiceover.
Nope.
That should not be the highest quality part of your performance.
No.
And a shiny turd is still a turd.
That part. Part.
I think people, people get confused sometimes because you're not always going to remember what somebody sounds like, but you can always remember what somebody looks like. So I think people see these groups at the top and it's like, oh, they look like this and they do this and they have this. And so that's what it takes to win. When really, if you really look at what those groups are doing, they're playing their butts off. They're playing and marching their tails off. And then their design team designed a show that's good for them. And sometimes it's not the concept that wins. They do a well enough concept. The concept's just there just because they got to have one.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just going I'm going to call this show Sunflowers. And they really got nothing to do with sunflowers, but you're going to put one on the floor and put one in the air and he's playing 5 at 280. And then what? Like,
I mean, Zach, we talked about that too. People coming out with these hardcore name shows and not be about that name or whatever. You're trying to make the show name too deep. And
it ain't that deep.
That is one thing that I think I am more proud of for myself this year than any year. I've had more people come to me and say, I've never seen a concert group actually follow through with the concept.
Man.
Like, we can see the concept in your show.
Yep.
And I was just like, thank God. Because, because there's so many. Go ahead.
No, I mean, because, you look at independent groups or world class in general, it's like, I get it. You want to have some big brain ideas and something that makes you go or think or whatever.
It brings intrigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes, man, it does it not become just as effective if you just literally do what you say you're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or, because I'm not sitting up here trying to, I don't know. I don't even know. And something to.
You said you come up with the. You say it. We'll just come up with the word for it. We got you.
It's like calling your show the Avengers just to find out it's My Little Pony. What? Like that's what some of these shows are. It's like, okay.
Like,
or
just
the theme is in the first third of the show.
Yeah.
And then you don't see
And
it.
then last third, you're just like, I don't have it anymore.
See,
and that could be, that's a general, like,
run out of this.
no matter what.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
See,
That is
and
a real thing.
there was an A-class group that went on, and they had this show title, and I didn't get it till the end of the show. I was like, that's what y'all are?
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Because I was like,
I think I know exactly which group
this
you're
whole
talking
time
about.
I thought it was completely something else. I was
Yeah, like the whole front half, maybe up until the last minute and a half of the show, I was like, okay, I kind of see it. But then they switched it in the very last song. It's some pop song, and it just all connected. It was
just
like,
made sense. It was like,
I was like, why didn't y'all do that from the beginning?
just name
Like,
it.
you make me wait the last 30
Just
seconds.
name it this. It's okay.
Yeah,
I think I know what show you're talking about too. I
just
can't-
keep it simple.
If I can remember what the pop song was, but I think I know what you're talking about.
See, I'm telling you,
like-
but
What?
yeah, It's like y'all. It's really okay. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think some of these, especially in the lower class, man, everybody just feeds off a world and they want to be this upper class so bad. They do this, and this, and even like I said, I've even said it, even in world class, it's like y'all, come on,
Mm-hmm.
come on.
So, all right. Run through the rest of this contest real quick. In marching, independent marching A, St. Martin Independent wins that class with a 75.6. Scholastic A, Sarahfield with a 79.6. Concert Open, Robertsdale High School gets a close win over DeSoto Central High School, 81.1 to 80.1. That could have went either way. I watched both of those groups.
That shows. I was going about to say Robertsdale is not that bad. It's not terrible.
No, it's not.
I was like, there's some good moments in this.
Random thought. Is the conductor distracting for DeSoto?
See,
Central?
I wondered. I said that because I was like, man, I haven't seen somebody conduct in years. Even for concert, for those who don't know, people used to conduct even for the marching groups.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mystique had a conductor, so if that tells you anything. But for concert, it used to be kind of a thing, and it made more sense for concert. But even for concert nowadays, man, I have not seen a conductor yet. And I think if he's going to do it, conductors can be above the penalty line, right?
So this is like a true conductor, not like a drum
I'm
major.
pretty sure
it's
it's
the band director, or the director,
Yeah.
whoever the director of the program was.
Okay. Well,
But, yeah,
that's
I don't know.
intriguing.
I don't know.
We had a conductor our first year we went concert.
Yeah, we sure did. But I can't remember if the conductor is able to be ahead of the penalty line.
I don't know. I don't know if they're
the
allowed to
only-
be that far back or not.
Because the only reason why I was wondering is because if he was back further, because he was in it. I'm like, bro, you are
Yes.
in the marimba.
Yes.
I was like, I need you to.
Like, he could have touched dude.
Y'all up there doing
Like, I
patty
first
cake in this
thought that-
mother. I was like, bro, back up.
Yeah, like when I watched, I thought it was a student and they were going to start them off and then like go around to the back and like play rack or something. But I was like, nope, they're doing the whole thing.
That was my whole thing with that. I was like, I think he
kids-
should just back up.
Their kids
They
played
well.
Yeah, the kids played well.
Right.
Like I said, that could have went either way. It's kind of like the A class. Like, who knows what would have happened if today? But yeah, so shout out to both of them. I was impressed with both groups. Marching Open Pace wins the Marching Open class with 81.45. That show's kind of cool.
Yeah, just about to say, cool show.
Seeing is being seen. I think that's the name of it. So
Cool show.
Very cool to use some blinds and things like that. So shout out to Garrett.
I was hoping they were going to work in finals. But Mother Nature said no.
Nah. Hernando also had a good run, so not too far behind them with that. So congrats to them. In Marching World, we only had one Scholastic Marching World group. That was Pedal High School with an 81.25. That setup is nice.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you forget you're in the arena with that one. Like, and their show is called Dear Teenage Me. So very poignant message that I'm sure those kids are really buying into. And I've always liked those shows that makes the kids think about not only like the music and the visual that they're doing, but like why they're doing what they're doing. And, they know their audience. They know they're going to have a bunch of teenagers just like them watching their show. And I think that's really, really smart of them to kind of handle that pretty well. So shout outs to them. And Independent World, Music City Mystique with an 88.55. Nice big number for them. And that show, we'll probably talk about that for a little bit here in a second. Infinity got their lick back on Infinity too. And they were just like, calm down. We're a big brother. Just hold with your horses there.
Someone got pissed off. Let's be honest with you. Someone got mad. They had a meeting, and they're like, Don't you let that happen.
Or
Ever
not
again.
Infinity.
Somebody from
And
Infinity
they just
2
walked away. Yeah.
texted somebody from the OG group and said, "Gotcha," and that was all it took.
Yeah.
As soon as they got home, they unfolded the floor when they got off the truck and had an 8-hour rehearsal. I don't care. Nobody's going to work tomorrow. We got work to do here.
So
They're still having rehearsal, and the kids are getting off the bus for breakfast in the morning.
Oh my god!
but
Who are these strangers?
they Infinity did do work there, and that show's good. It is a really good show.
Yeah,
They
it
got a
is.
lot of good things going for them.
I didn't know they dusted the Infinity sign with the brushes at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That was dope. Like they're painting on all the canvases and stuff like that, and then they brought out the brush, like the sweet, they like those sweet type brushes, like you see a chimney sweep,
Yeah,
and they sweep the whole Infinity sign on the floor. Well, I said, okay, Infinity, I see y'all, but the show in general is very captivating. I actually enjoy that a lot.
yeah. They got a really good. They got a lot of really good things going. Just tighten up the plan a little bit.
Yeah.
They can make some moves. Infinity 2 show is good. It's a take on Barbara Seville. Sorry, not Barbara Seville.
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd. I was thinking Barbara, but I was like, wait.
Yeah.
The Demon Barber on Fleet Street, which is the name of the show is Fleet Street. So very interesting take on that. I would have liked to heard more of the theme from that, but that's just me personally because I like the theme from Sweeney Todd. And then Strike with their version of a scene from Alice in Wonderland called Malice. It was also good. Their floor is angled. I mean, it's painted in a polygon, so it gives that illusion of a going in. So,
Yeah.
but they got the checkerboard and the bright reds and stuff like that. But Mystique, good God Almighty, it's so cool.
It really
I'm watching it right now, and oh my lord!
What'd you say?
I said I'm watching it right now, and oh my
Yeah, me
lord.
too.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. I was like, I didn't get to watch it, so I'm going to watch it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm already done. I'm already over it.
Yeah, it's
You're
so
gonna
good.
you're gonna have to watch it again after this without the talking and stuff of us talking.
Yeah.
And just look at it and
Oh, yeah.
listen. Now I see why some of the music scores are a little low. Because I think if it wasn't, then they would have been in the 90s. But
Their tenors didn't have a great day. I don't think.
I don't think the tenors did. I heard a couple flukish this is why I take everything with flow marching or anything on YouTube or a live stream with a grain of salt because you just don't
Always have
know,
to.
and you shouldn't make an 100%, conclusion or whatever off of what you see off of a screen. But because everybody's audio is going to be different. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's my audio, but there was some stuff up in the front when they get to the toms. What are the rotary toms? Roto toms. Change the pitch. And I was like, okay, something wasn't exact for me. And I was like, something that's just a hair. I was like, I wonder if they're going to get called for this or from front to back kind of deal. But other than that, like I'm talking minuscule though. But it's to the point where okay, it's Mystique. And then if you hear it, you're like, okay, how much is this going to actually affect? And then when I got to see the recap, and I was like, okay, well now that score makes a little bit of sense that the music is just a hair low. Because like I said, I think if the music was just a little bit more high, because especially in effect, you got a 91 and then an 88. So it's like, okay, if those two captions were just a hair higher, I think they would have been in a 90. But the rest of the stuff, man, is just the way they're using. I don't even know the name of that effect.
It's about the drums that speak.
The speaking thing. That's
like
really
it
cool.
records the sound and it speaks the drum.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of like what
it's what Blue Knights use.
Blue Knights used it that one year. Now Mystique has done it before, but this may be one of the most outrageous, fantastic ways I've ever heard it be used. I'm sitting here like, this is really wild. Like
That whole
wild.
opening segment, I was listening to it. That whole opening, dude, I was just like,
Dude,
yeah,
it's just
more of
like,
that, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mystique, I see how y'all feel. And if you embrace all of it, and then you're watching the lights and how it all attributes
Oh
to
yeah,
this,
their
to
light
the
work
theme
is
is
ridiculous.
phenomenal. I'm like,
Every time they use lights, they use it so well.
it's like Jesus, Mystique. It's like really.
Well, that's what's cool about it. It's like it's minimalist too. Like it's not in your face with it.
It is
It's just enough to like, just get your reaction to need where they want it to be, and then they let the rest of it happen, which is really cool.
I said,
I feel like they should be getting more credit for that opening sequence from a musical standpoint, because the modulations that are happening between the front line and the battery, moving in and out of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7s, probably 9s, and like they're just melting into each other and being molded. Like it makes perfect sense from a musical and a visual standpoint, and it's like that. That's to me like being like a cerebral person. Like that's the epitome of what visual musicality is.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I get this.
Yeah, and that book is hard.
Mm-hmm.
God dang, that book is hard. God dang.
And that's the thing. Like, and I like Pulse, and I like RCC, and I like Broken City. But like Mystique has a way of the music actually telling the story of like Plastique. You can have something in your mind about what that is, but Mystique does such a good job of musically representing what they want you to see visually.
Yes.
Like easily. Post sets up a soundtrack. RCC sets up a soundtrack. Broken City sets up a soundtrack where the vocals take care of what the concept is, and then they just do a brilliant job of picking music that works, and they just play the snot out of the music. Now, Broken City soundtrack is completely different, and their body work,
Jesus,
from a visual standpoint, makes them stand out, and then their use of space. So even still with them, they're doing something different that works for them. But like nobody does what Mystique does.
Dude, their sound. Like, sorry, I just got done watching it, and like their sound just. I don't know. I just am attracted to that kind of a way they produce.
Well, I mean,
their stuff, man.
We talked about this in Drum Corps season 2, but like you can tell that it's Mystique by the way it's orchestrated. Like that that's them. They have a sound.
You can.
A lot of groups.
Yeah, a lot of groups, and I'm definitely okay with at least almost top 6 to 8 of independent world that have a distinct sound. For me, especially top 5. No question, them top 5 that are, or I should say, your regular top 5s. You can close your eyes and just play a song. You're gonna know who that is. You're gonna know who that is. I just, and I've said it before, and I continue to say, Mystique has my favorite front ensemble. I'm sorry, I've been saying it for years on years on years. It is something about it, or whatever. And the only group that I said that has ever rivaled Mystique's front ensemble was when Amachi was coming down a bunch. But when you're looking at that front, I was like, and I keep telling people, I was like, man, don't get it twisted. Their book is so hard in that front. So hard. And some of the stuff, and just the way it's, I don't even know the words. Again, here I am. It's just the way it's written, the way it's orchestrated, and the sound and the different sounds that they use and they have accessibility to is just crazy to me. And it's like, how do you even remotely, like, what even get you to even think of
Yes.
stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you can't even speak, you know it's something ridiculous. It's like,
And it's one of those things like you can't describe it, but everyone knows what you're talking
yeah,
about.
and that's
Like
exactly what
everyone
it
knows,
is.
like what, you know.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So they are. I mean, it's such a good group, and the sad part is right now, I don't know if they're metal.
And I've had that discussion with someone once before, and I said the same thing. I was like, man, because I tell people all the time, I was like, when you're talking about certain groups, even if it's not Mystique, it's any other group, man, you don't just think about the overall package, because there are so many little tiny things happening that matter just as much, that make up that group, and why somebody loves this and why you love that. Like, you can probably talk for days about why you love Blue Coast Show this past year, or what made BD's show so outrageous, you know what I'm saying? Or why was Boston Crusaders battery so this or that? You know, you can go all day talking about that. And I've said the same thing about this. I was like, man, Mystique has all of this going on. And they could easily be fourth. And I said, that's crazy right now. Because I've sat there and looked at it, I was like, I have put that much energy in talking about Broken City this year and saying some of the things. Because to me, right now, Broken City might have, when you're talking visually, body work and visual in general, not prop-wise or anything like that, but just drill and body and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody beating that? Because if you've seen it and you're like, that's ridiculous. I've not seen any group do some of those things that they're trying, or I can't even say trying, that they're doing. So, and then you start going down the list, and then you think about these other groups and what's going on, like RCC show. I love RCC's music this year. I love that whole opening segment, and I'm sitting here like, here we go. And then, can you even remotely explain Rhythm X? What is happening in that show? And Pulse just stays clean, man. It's tight knit notes that sounds like somebody created it in like Puff Daddy's art studio somewhere. I don't know. It's like
Not Puff Daddy.
Go play this sound
like
system.
like y'all in studio time.
This man said.
But listen.
I mean, I don't disagree with you.
Exactly. It's like, what?
I don't. So, we're not going to go over rankings because we're bumping up against an hour. But I do kind of want to see something out. So, Pulse, RCC, and Broken City went head to head today. As of this recording. With what appears to be a WGI panel. Pulse came out on top with a 93.2. RCC was second with a 92.2. Broken City was third with a 91.6. RCC won Music Effect, and Pulse won everything else. And Broken City was third across the board. So, and those are your top three right now in unofficial rankings. So, I know we had been waiting to see how that was going to shake out whenever we got to see each other. And then you got MCEM, you got Mystique and Rhythm X right on top of each other, fourth and fifth. So we got some big regionals coming up this weekend. I know for percussion, you got Atlanta. I believe Dayton's this weekend as well. probably the only one that cares about it, but the Dayton Regional has 3 championship attendees going to it in Concert A, and Atlanta has 2. So about over half of your Concert A groups are going to be seeing each other there. Your guard regionals this week again are in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Dallas, Texas, Denver, Colorado, Palm Beach, Florida, and San Antonio, Texas. And then your men's regionals, usually the same as the percussion ones. Atlanta, Clayton, North Carolina is with first wins only regionals this weekend in Clayton, North Carolina.
Huh.
Nice.
You got Dayton, Ohio. Both Atlanta and Dayton will be shown, and New Jersey are going to be shown on Flow Marching. So Flow Marching will have all the drum and spinny spins.
All of them.
All of them going on. So, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is the dumbest spelling of that word ever, but here we are. So, so big weekend coming up. For a lot of groups, this will be their last big regional before circuit championships and things of that nature. So, you're probably going to see a lot of groups at their best, put on a lot of tricks. And
Well, we got 2 weeks left before championships, something like that. Right?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Some championships will start on the 25th.
Well, world championships.
Yeah. Oh, world? No, you still 3 or 4
not,
from that.
Is that in April, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right. And you have some time for that. They'll squeeze in all the circuit championships over the next time, because some people do their circuit championships over 2 weeks. They do 2 weekends and do like a prelims and finals with that. So let us know what you think about going. What you think about what's going on right now, because there's a lot happening. A lot of close battles and storylines, and it's a lot of cool stuff that's going down. So let us know in the comments below who you rooting for, who you spin for, who you march for, who you play for, who you going to watch.
Which groups your baby in?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you're a parent, who's your kid march for?
Make sure you sit down when they are on.
Oh my God!
Bandagram.
Don't be trying to stand up and cheer for your baby. Don't nobody care about your baby but you. Sit down so I can see my baby too.
If you're standing up and your baby drops, you'll sit down, won't you?
Oh boy!
Right.
Will, that story you put up of that guy standing up during that.
Listen, that's why I said, because I was like, bruh, I know your kid is in the ensemble. I get it, but you cannot stand up the whole show, bruh. I was like, you got to come down, man. Sit down.
Got to stand
and he had the nerve to
up.
turn around. I'm like, yes, you are dead in front of the. First of all, you in front of somebody else, but you are also in front of the live stream camera. Hello, we see you too, sir. Sit it down.
Do you remember there was a show last year, I think it was in California, where there was a girl who was talking loud. And I mean, the Flow Marching microphone was right here.
My God.
And she was saying all types of stuff. Something listen.
Yes, they did that, and they tuned in.
Somebody called.
Yeah.
Somebody got hold of somebody there and said, hey, there's a girl.
She got to go.
All on the mic. And you could see the whole interaction where somebody came up to her and was like, hey, we're recording for Flow Marching right behind you. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
She's
right.
talking mad crap, I'm guessing, right?
She said some stuff that she probably shouldn't have said.
It's hilarious. I'm like dying.
It happened.
Man.
And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like,
At that point, you just grab your stuff and you leave.
I mean,
It's like,
she was saying some. I think she was talking about somebody on staff or somebody's staff and the drama that was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely leave after that.
Yeah.
It was. I was like. I think I texted Will. Said, "Are you watching?"
We all watching it. Yeah.
I might even text Terry and said, "Hey, dog,
somebody.
I don't know who we need to get on to.
Get your girl because she needs to go."
Yes, it was something else. So anyway, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify and Anchor.fm. So lots of different ways to find us. If you like what you heard, like, comment, share, and subscribe. All that's free, and you'll be supporting a Predator GR podcast. And I know there's a lot of them going out there, so we appreciate you being with us and listening to us, whether it's in your car, your home, on YouTube, whatever it is. So, fellas, if you guys don't have nothing else, this has been episode 30 of On the Back Hash, along with William, Zach, Chris. My name is Cedric. Love everybody. Go hang out at the show, cheer some people on, clap for everything, hoop and holler, and do all that good stuff. Next week, we'll try not to talk so much so we can actually get to the ratings and whatnot. But anyway, from me and us to all of you, take care. We are Dut.
Out.
Out.